Okay, YouTube is live also. So for those watching on YouTube, welcome to the live stream. I will be sharing my screen now. Screen share, screen share, screen share. Okay, I hope you can see the screen also. This is Nifty's 5-minute chart. अभी ही I don't know what happens, but invariably जैसे ही हम लोग streaming चालू करते हैं ना, वैसे instantly we see some or the other big price movement happening. जैसा यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं, this move happened just right now. 3 बजे हम लोग का stream जैसे start हुआ वैसे. So I think उस हिसाब से our stream timing is good. But yeah. The reason behind this volatility is at least in part due to the election. So हम लोग ने देखा था कि कल दिल्ली इलेक्शन का रिजल्ट आ गया था, राइट? दिल्ली का क्या MCD इलेक्शन. So AAP won that election, which is why that sort of volatility was, done with. Presumably that is why we saw some movement happening here. आज ऑफ कोर्स हम लोग गुजरात और हिमाचल प्रदेश के इलेक्शन को देख रहे हैं. सो along with yesterday's this thing, result yesterday was the RBI policy also. So दो चीज एक साथ हो गए. Now today's Gujarat election, BJP lost in Himachal, but I mean for Gujarat apparently like it just seems like elections are a formality, because then it's kind of obvious who's going to win in a state like Gujarat. But ठीक है, अभी आ गया वो result, outcome आ गया, तो उस हिसाब से maybe the market is moving. So yeah, it might seem a little absurd कि why is the market moving based on politics? But if you think about it, there's a lot that goes behind, because political decisions influence markets a lot, right? So yeah, Vikrant, that's exactly. So election does make an impact, because we see a lot of these companies, right? I'm not going to name any specific companies, but I don't think I need to name any specific companies. Is the other company here on my list? I don't think so. But yeah, certain companies have a very big impact thanks to the election, and these are just the companies that we know of. Behind the scenes क्या क्या चलता है हमें कैसे पता? So yeah, I was talking about Reliance and Adani. So those two companies have a big impact, right? Thanks to elections. वैसे और भी सारे companies होते हैं. These are just two that we know of. So उसके वजह से elections do have some bearing, plus policy. So typically if you see, अगर कोई एक गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी के अंदर प्रो बिजनेस है, naturally that is what the markets will end up favoring. So all that does not really affect our Thursday expiry today, but it does affect the general move of the market. आप गुज्जू क्या? Yes, I'm a Gujarati, so sort of seen it firsthand, I guess. ठीक है. So that is that. Let me see यहाँ पे any chat on YouTube. No chat on YouTube yet. No problem. Let me just see here. And yeah, back to our chart. That always can be the case, Somesh. I mean, I know you're just kidding, but देखो, the world works in mysterious ways, in the sense that we really don't know what actually goes on behind the scenes. But ठीक है, those are blind speculation, as you said. So let's come back to what is not blind speculation, what is actually visible speculation, that is Nifty. यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं that for Nifty at least, we have seen this level 620 being a very important resistance and 550 or so being an important support. ये 550 का जो लेवल है, ये हम लोग ने पहले भी बात की थी. And in fact, if you recall, if I go to the hourly chart, if you recall, this is something we discussed on Tuesday as well, कि maybe price अगर यहाँ पे आता है, it is likely to retest this level and then decide कि उसे क्या करना है. As of now, we can see it has taken support from this area 550, 560. But क्या वो level hold कर पाएगा? क्या ये level पे रुकेगा? That is the question. And उसके लिए जो पहला hurdle आएगा, the first hurdle that is going to be there is probably going to be this level here, which is around 620. So if 620 is broken, उसके बाद हम लोग ये वाला लेवल एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज दैट इज वेयर द नेक्स्ट राउंड ऑफ सेलिंग हैपेंड. अगर आप देखते हो फ्रॉम हियर, पहले तो हमने देखा प्राइस फेल, ऊपर आया, फिर वंस अगेन फ्रॉम अराउंड 720 और सो प्राइस फेल अगेन एंड अगेन, वहां से आया यहाँ पे अगेन एट अराउंड 680 और सो प्राइसेस फेल, and now we are seeing resistance from 620. So overall the sentiment does appear to be a little weak. हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि जो पहले हम लोग ने अंधा बुलिशनेस देखा था वो नहीं है, but that is always going to be the case. The market will, you know, move in cycles in this sense. So let's see if it's able to hold on to this basically yesterday's low, previous day's low. तो I think it will be fine. Otherwise अगर वो low नहीं hold कर पाता, then I think it will mean that the markets might slip a little further. Now today being an expiry, how does it matter? Basically expiry के अंदर options में ज़्यादा हम लोग ध्यान देते हैं rather than just looking at the index, because it is not a monthly expiry or anything that it might have a lot of impact on the market that much. So ठीक है, let's see how it goes. Right now I'll talk about the option chain also. Option chain. Yeah. COVID restriction in China will affect in the Indian market whole because many sectors still depend on China. So Lohit, two things. Now, this question that you have, many sectors still depend on China. While true, I have seen that there is a very stark reduction in how much we depend on China. So actually, मैं है ना, आई थिंक 2019 या 2020 में मेरे को एक पॉडकास्ट एपिसोड करना था बजट के ऊपर. सो उस एपिसोड के लिए आई रीच्ड आउट टू अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन हु इज इन द टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर. They've got a fairly good sized operation going on, and I asked him that I've also done a project in textile related to hemp fabrics. So I was curious to know how much they rely on China, since it's obviously with alternative fabrics like hemp and bamboo, those fabrics tend to rely heavily on the Chinese suppliers. But he said that of late the reliance on China has reduced a lot. So maybe that same thing is being observed in other sectors also. If that is the case, तो फिर उतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं आना चाहिए, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव बीन सीइंग. चाइना के अंदर बहुत सारे लॉकडाउन्स ऑलरेडी हुए हैं, येट वी हैव नॉट सीन अ मार्क्ड इम्पैक्ट ऑन आवर मार्केट्स, बिकॉज पहली तो बात वो, आवर मार्केट इज गोइंग टू रिलाई ऑन न्यूज. अभी चाइना में लॉकडाउन इज नॉट न्यूज. एनी कंपनी डूइंग बिजनेस विद चाइना विल कीप द लॉकडाउन्स इन माइंड, बिकॉज दे नो कि फ्रीक्वेंटली होते रहते हैं. So possibly that is something to consider. My views at least on that. Now, fact से दूर हो सकते हैं, but again, this is what I have observed. While trading an option, do you depend more on open interest data? So I don't really depend on it. I don't really rely on it, but it does help you understand कि कहाँ पे ज़्यादा interest है. सिर्फ OI से ज़्यादा, if you also look at the change in OI, okay, if you also look at the change in OI, that can also help you sort of piece together more information. So अगर आप देख रहे हो that on the call side, let's say you are seeing an increase in OI of 650 instead of OI of 700. That means कि यहाँ पे rolling down हो रहा है, which means that maybe prices are likely to come down. Vice versa for puts. अगर 600 से 650 पे रोल अप हो रहे हैं पुट्स, दैट मींस मे बी बुलिश सेंटिमेंट है. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस आल्सो sort of goes in the thought process, but there are a lot of things OI में. So ultimately, my suggestion, if you are trying to piece together OI, if you are trying to sort of decode what is actually happening here, is that pick one particular area or two areas, like maybe a combination of change in OI and maybe OI at the two most common strikes, and then you try to dig deeper into that. क्योंकि अगर आप overall OI देखोगे तो there is far too much information to actually make any meaningful decisions out of it. यहाँ पर जैसे हम देख सकते हैं 650 पे काफी ज्यादा OI है, 600 पे भी OI है. यहाँ पे on the put side we can see that 550 and 600 पे है. So clearly, now that the market is just 15 minutes to close, we know कि ये region में ही रहेगा, which is why the OI is there. But what matters is कि हमारे stream के पहले भी आप ये देखते रहो और बाद भी, that how is the OI progressing, and then you might find some hint. This is all public information, so don't expect any miracles to happen. अगर आप देख सकते हो, मैं देख सकता हूं, तो शायद कोई और भी देख ही सकता है. So you will never find an edge unless you really try to dig deeper into it. So yeah, that's my view on OI. The reason why we still use it is because I still deem it to be an important tool in just understanding the sentiments. Okay. Thanks Ravindra for the upvote. Right, that is Nifty. Bank Nifty देखते हैं. Bank Nifty is in a world of its own. हम लोग देख रहे हैं that yesterday also it did fall, but overall Bank Nifty has done much better. In fact, आज हम देख सकते हैं that the opening low was never even tested. Opening low previous close पे आया, उसके बाद next वाला candle itself was a open equals to low candle, and then we never really saw those levels again. So banks के लिए it is much better this time around. And we can see several reasons here in my watch list itself. हम लोग देख सकते हैं ICICI Bank is doing very well, Axis Bank is doing very well. Let's see any other banks I have here. We have SBI, which is also doing fairly well, but at least right now it appears कि maybe at least from my watch list, maybe it's the private banks. So let's see. Yeah, Vikrant, I'll give you levels also. यहाँ पर देखते हैं सेक्टर्स में, या वी कैन सी it's actually the PSU banks that are leading, but private banks are also much better than the rest of the market. Nifty is up 0.29% and private banks are up 1.17%. So बहुत बड़ा difference है in how banks are performing today across the spectrum. And we can see here is the list. These are the gainers for Nifty. These are the losers for Nifty. बैंक निफ्टी की बात करें, then these are the gainers. You can see Bank Baroda, PNB, Fed Bank. These are the real reason why, at least partial reason why Bank Nifty is outperforming. हम अगर यहाँ पे जाते हैं, मेरे लिए if I just search Nifty and if I go on in Money Control's website, तो यहाँ पे मनी कंट्रोल के वेबसाइट पे हमें पता चलता है that which are the contributors. So here we can see again, as we discussed, ICICI बैंक का बहुत बड़ा वेटेज आया है, इन्फोसिस का बहुत बड़ा वेटेज आया है, एक्सिस बैंक का और HDFC बैंक का बहुत बड़ा वेटेज आया है, which is what is actually holding Nifty afloat. But अगर बैंक निफ्टी देखते हैं, then the situation is different because Axis Bank has had a huge impact on Bank Nifty. And then it has the smaller banks, some PSUs, and so on. So this helps you sort of deconstruct the movement. Okay, let's go back to the chart. Levels की बात करते हैं, then we talk about some questions, answers, any things that you want to talk about. Generally speaking, we can talk about that. Yeah, YouTube में error आ रही है, ठीक है, no problem. Okay, यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं that again, as I said, the first level मेरे view में तो रहेगा is going to be roughly here, which is 620, 630. और यहाँ पर हम लोग रेजिस्टेंस देख सकते हैं. इसके बाद अगर देखते हैं then maybe the next level comes around here just above 660. अगर lower levels पे support की बात करें तो 560 becomes an important one and 530 becomes an important one here. If prices are able to really do very well, then maybe 720ish might be the next resistance. So this would be my view for Nifty. अगर हम लोग prices गिरते देखते हैं, then maybe the next real sort of this thing support that we see, hourly chart पे देखना पड़ेगा because 5 minute पे उतना डेटा नहीं है, but hourly chart पर हम देख सकते हैं that basically after 530 we have one level right around 500 और उसके बाद का सीधा लेवल आ जाता है 420 पे 420. Okay, so these would be some key levels in my view for the market. So let's see if Nifty is able to hold again. अगर हम लोग देखते हैं weekly close is above 680, above 700, then I feel the momentum is still with the bulls. And this is what the daily chart looks like. Again, I don't know how many of us remember when I made this fib extension, but ये fib extension करने के टाइम पे मैंने कहा था कि there is a very good chance we see some support at 560, और वही हम लोग यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं. If you want to know more about fib extensions, I mention this in every live stream of ours. You go on the YouTube channel. YouTube चैनल पे जाने के बाद पहले तो सब्सक्राइब और सब कर लो. उसके बाद you pick any video here. Let's say I pick this one, which is my stock picks for last week. यहाँ पे मैं जाता हूँ. I'll pause the video. I'll go here in the description and I can watch these. The first link itself will tell you about this thing. क्या बोलते हैं? This fib extensions. So first link पे अगर आप जाते हो, you will see fib extensions, right? So yeah, that's very useful in my view. One of the most underrated tools I would say, क्योंकि ज़्यादा लोग ये use नहीं करते हैं. This is not a very widely used tool, at least here in the Indian markets. Okay, this is Nifty. Same thing if we do for Bank Nifty. Let's go on the 5-minute chart. All-time high पे है Bank Nifty, so it's not really going to give us a very meaningful very meaningful resistance. But what we can do is figure out where the next support can be. तो एक level हम लोग मान सकते हैं ये वाला हो गया 43,500 के आसपास. Reason being, not only was this one of the previous highs, but also यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं ये एरिया में हम लोग ने सपोर्ट देखा है. So that might just be an important level to watch out for. After that 43,400, उसके बाद हम देख सकते हैं roughly this level that comes into the picture 43,300 के पास, and then maybe somewhere around here 43,150 followed by this level 42,980. So these levels might be important. 1 hour chart देखते हैं. We can just see Bank Nifty has gone up. It's sort of shot up like anything. This is the daily chart. And again, not really a very good idea to bet against the market right now. I know a lot of us have that fear. A lot of us have that feeling कि अरे market शायद और गिरेगा. Right now, तो it does not appear to be. Trend भी ऐसा नहीं लग रहा. It can, but it might not. Apollo Tyre topping out a little. But अगर और momentum है, then it can do well. So my view is based on this. ये 300 के पास एक important support है, मान लेते हैं. But we are also seeing Apollo Tyre holding this level here. We can see कि यहाँ पे काफी retest किया था उसने, and then finally एक retest के बाद now it is trying to go up. So if there is some bullish momentum here, तो यहाँ पे एक अच्छा ट्रेड बन सकता है. That being said, it is not the type of trade that I personally typically trade. So मैं खुद ये शायद ना लूँ because it's not as per my setup, but yeah, it does make sense. भेल daily chart है ये यहाँ पे. It's too high in the sky. I don't think it's a very good pick right now. मानवीर पोजिशनल के हिसाब से ब्रेकआउट हुआ है, बट देन अगेन ब्रेकआउट का कैंडल ने ऑलरेडी 10% रिटर्न दे दिया. Assuming you bought on this candle, which is where the breakout happened, उसके बाद ऑलरेडी 10% का गेन हो गया है, 10.5%. Now prices are actually come down by 3.5%. So yeah, I don't really see this being a very nice pick also. But देखते हैं मूविंग एवरेजेस के हिसाब से, if we are able to come somewhere in this region or somewhere in this region which will coincide with the 20 moving average and a price zone, तो शायद कुछ हो सकता है. Otherwise, right now at this level, I would personally not get into it. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions, everyone? मैंने खुद अपवोट नहीं किया है मेरी स्ट्रीम को. या ओके. Any questions, guys? If not, let's get back to Nifty and Bank Nifty. Nifty here. यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं, या it's not really able to gather that momentum, which is not a very pleasant sign. अगर momentum इकट्ठा कर सकता है, then of course it means that the bulls are actually coming back. Otherwise, maybe we just see this sideways sort of movement. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, Bank Nifty is still going strong. अभी और क्या देखें? Let's look at the top stocks. यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं that Reliance has a horrible price movement. माइक्रो कैप स्टॉक जैसा परफॉर्म कर रहा है. माइक्रो कैप थोड़ा एग्जैजरेशन हो गया, बट डेफिनेटली वोडाफोन आइडिया टाइप के प्राइस मूवमेंट्स दे रहा है ये. You can see how many giant wicks are there here. This is not very this is not very similar to how Reliance typically moves. यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं HDFC बैंक, it's also showing a little slowing down of momentum. Daily chart of HDFC bank we can see is holding this zone, 16 सोका zone. यहाँ पर क्या बन सकता है? Which pattern is there? Reliance volatile cause election can be, Vikrant. I mean, that's the only reason I can think of, unless there's something else at play. यहाँ पे क्या कौन सा पैटर्न बन रहा है? कोई बोल सकता है मुझे? I'll tell you. Flag pattern जैसा बन रहा है यहाँ पे. So if we see a breakout of this, then maybe there's a chance we see 120 point move, and उस हिसाब से around 1750 1700 के आसपास HDFC बैंक जा सकता है if prices are able to go higher. Infosys अगर देखते हैं, we can see again it is bouncing up from roughly this area. Does not look very pleasant to me, to be very honest. हम लोग देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे if it is able to hold on to this region, then yeah, I feel 1680 के आसपास जा सकता है. Otherwise it's in a very tight range. अगर आप देखते हो, as such this was the high for it. Yeah, this was the high for it. Sharply नीचे आया, and now we can see it is stuck within this range itself. So let's see if it has what it takes to get out of that range. Yeah, Lohit, I can do a pattern ka session also. I'm actually working on something that is for patterns and such only. यहाँ पे HDFC पे भी हम लोग देख सकते हैं flag pattern like HDFC Bank. So yeah, those patterns and all will come in due course. So webinar या live stream तो कर सकते हैं. We can also do something else that I'll get into when the time is right. ICICI Bank. So speaking of patterns, this can be considered as two patterns. There are two names of this roughly. What is the first and what is the second? Can someone tell me? In particular, I'm talking about this. So Lohit, you mentioned the pattern thing at the right time, because the first is that it is a dragonfly gravestone. It is a gravestone doji. The second is that it is also an inverted hammer. So many people get confused between inverted hammers and shooting stars. Inverted hammer is at the bottom of a down move. Shooting star is at the top of an up move. They look very similar. And yeah, that is very similar to what we are seeing in ICICI Bank right now. SBI, let's see, 2 minutes to market close. More like 1.5 minutes to market close. Yeah, 5 minutes looking fine. Not too bad. Kotak Bank must be horrible, because Kotak Bank ki volatility is something different only. So yeah, be very careful if you're trading stocks like Kotak Bank. तो बहुत सावधानी से ट्रेड करो. या एक्सेस लुकिंग गुड, एक्सेस हैज गुड मोमेंटम। आई थिंक एक्सेस के बारे में ही हम लोग ने बात की थी कि शायद 1000 पहुंच जाएगा। आई थिंक लास्ट वीक समवन हैड आस्क्ड अबाउट एक्सिस बैंक, और लास्ट वीक तभी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि हाँ लेट्स सी। आई वाज नॉट श्योर टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, आई डिडंट थिंक इट हैड इट इन इट, गिवन कि हम लोग ने थोड़ा सा ऑलरेडी सेलिंग देखा था। आई थॉट दैट मे बी देयर इज अ चांस वी माइट face some hurdles at 910, but yeah, clearly it's having other plans, which is good. TCS not looking very pleasant. अगर हम मानते हैं ये सेम सपोर्ट जोन में रहे, then maybe we see a bounce around 3300, 3320. And yeah, that's about it. What about Wipro? So Wipro is actually a stock that is in my watch list. For a very quick minute, 9 seconds, let's take a look at Nifty so it closes. But yeah, Wipro is actually a stock that is on my watch list. So मैंने आप लोगों को दिखाया था, and Nifty has officially closed. मैंने आप लोगों को दिखाया था मेरा swing trading analysis का video, right? When I was giving you the example of the fib extensions. At that time, the video that I used was my swing trading. वो मेरा वॉच लिस्ट है, उसको वॉच लिस्ट के अंदर ही मेरा विप्रो है यहाँ पे. विप्रो इज नॉट रियली डूइंग वेरी वेल राइट नाउ, बट आई डू फील इट हैज पोटेंशियल, और इट हैड पोटेंशियल. अभी कहाँ पे है देखते हैं, द डेली चार्ट ऑन द दिस थिंग. हाँ, या वी कैन सी बेसिकली यहाँ पे 200 मंथली, 200 वीकली पे है, और 20 वीकली से थोड़ा रेजिस्टेंस ले रहा है. सो इन माय व्यू, इफ वी आर एबल टू क्लोज वेल अबव 400, लेट्स से maybe we close at 405, 410, somewhere around here. So I think it has potential. But yeah, this is one of those stocks की IT as a sector इतना beaten down है, और वहाँ beaten down था, और वहाँ से थोड़ा सा recover कर पाया Infosys and TCS. And maybe stocks like Wipro are a little lagging behind. Yeah, they are not going very well. But certainly they are much better than how Wipro is. So I'll give you a very quick example of how you can see whether Wipro is underperforming or outperforming IT. मैंने यहाँ पे क्या किया है, मैंने यहाँ पे किया है Wipro divided by CNX IT. I have done Wipro divided by CNX IT. This is what I have typed. What this shows is कि कौन ऊपर जा रहा है और कितना. सो दिस लाइन हैज बीन कमिंग डाउन. इसका मतलब क्या है, दैट द डिनोमिनेटर इज हायर देन द न्यूमरेटर. Without sounding too much like a maths teacher, we are basically saying that IT as a sector has been outperforming Wipro as a stock. In other words, or more accurately, हम लोग देख सकते हैं weekly chart पे that it is in a way cyclical, and also this is something that has been going on since June of 2021, कि यहाँ पे वो नीचे नीचे जा रहा है, which means Wipro has been underperforming the IT sector severely. So if we do see this bounce, then we might be able to catch it. TVS sticks, any TVS sticks, any inside TVS sticks? What do you mean motors? मोटर का तो हम लोग ने आई थिंक बात की थी इन आर ट्यूसडे वेबिनार, टू यूज टू द वर्ड वेबिनार, लाइव स्ट्रीम. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's broken that line, right? It's broken that line. So it's not looking very pleasant to me. Let's see if it's able to hold on to 1000 psychological level, then very good. If it's able to hold on to this level, very good. Otherwise, not really ideal. So Friday रुकते हैं, मतलब कल के लिए रुकते हैं. Plus I would say wait till Monday or Tuesday. My personal opinion. Okay. So yeah, that's about it, I guess. Any other questions, please feel free to ask me. And you know what to do. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel also. मैं बस YouTube डाल देता हूँ यहाँ पे, because see, all the weekly streams that I do, right, on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, वो तो आपको क्रिएटर पे मिल जाएंगे. बट इफ यू वांट टू वॉच द वीडियोस दैट आर देयर स्विंग ट्रेडिंग के ऊपर जो है, लाइक माय वॉच लिस्ट, देन वी हैव द इंटरेस्टिंग कैंडल्स, डेटा ड्रिवन एनालिसिस, ये सारे जो वीडियोस है प्लस अदर वीडियोस, दे आर पोस्टेड ओनली ऑन यूट्यूब. because creator is just for live streams, right? So yeah, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, helps out a lot. We are at 3248, so two more and we'll be at 3250. So two people who have not subscribed, please kar do, maza aega. Let me just see. Railway stocks are rallying up because union budget ahead. Could be, Somesh. I think, if I remember correct, sometime in November, I think mid November is when Nirmala Sitaraman had started taking this thing, meetings for the union budget. So possibly some things being discussed in those meetings that we don't know about, and maybe that is why we're seeing it rallying. So yeah, could be reforms in taxation also expected. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you very much for sticking through, and I hope you found good value. मिलते हैं लाइव में, एंड इफ यू आर ऑन यूट्यूब मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में. तब तक हैप्पी ट्रेडिंग, हैप्पी एनालिसिस, एंड आई विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट वन. थैंक यू.